down 8.
How about Ed Oliver? He forced that fumble. Outstanding game by Ed Oliver.
So you give props to the defense, but you still got to score for Josh Allen and company. And what do? They take it right down the field. Nice throw there under pressure, so it's 1st and goal, and you just keep it in Allen's hands. He reaches over. So now they got the score, but they got to get the 2-point conversion. They're a little backed up. How about that? They get the ball back. After the Ravens had missed an extra point earlier, would have made it 41-38. Instead, it's only down 2 for the Bills. They got a chance to win the game in the final seconds and bring in the old dude, Matt Prater.
41-year-old Matt Prater.
Speaking of 41, that's how many points they scored. They win it 41-40.
The drive by Josh Allen and company and the closing minutes of that game, how did they put it together?
Well, if you look at how they defeated this Raven team, it's the same way that kind of puzzled this Raven team last year, their pass defense. Josh Allen had 394 yards passing tonight. He threw the ball up and down the field. So the Achilles heel of the Ravens a year ago, they go out to get Jair Alexander. It's the same Achilles heel this year. They can't stop the pass. The pass rush can't get there. Josh Allen picked them apart up and down the field, and I get it. You can say if Derrick Henry doesn't fumble the football, Baltimore wins. But guess what he did is your defense going to help your offense. And tonight, Baltimore's defense, once again, the proud Raven defense was the issue with this team.
So, look, you're the Ravens, and in this game itself, you feel like it's the Ravens and the Bills finally trying to get to a point where they can get past the Chiefs, right? And they know they probably got to go through one another to be able to do that. The Ravens, as you said earlier, they were in Buffalo. They had a chance to win that game. They don't get it done. They had this game wrapped up. They give it away. Now, you said no matter what they say in the locker room, I mean, what kind of lingering effects are we talking about?
Yeah, how do you get over that?
It's a lingering effect because they lost last time because their stars didn't make the plays. Lamar, 2 turnovers. Mark Andrews dropped a 2-point conversion. I said all offseason, if Baltimore's going to get to the Super Bowl, their best players have to play their best at the biggest moments. Today, even though Derrick Henry played well, he fumbled the ball. So again, their best player let them down.
About 40 seconds away from Scott Van Pelt. I do want to get your thoughts on Lamar Jackson and the shove with the fan. The reaction from the NFL, what do you think it's going to be?
It should be nothing. The fan came on the field. If you come on the field, you're coming into my territory. If I go in the stands, I'm in your territory. No different when Ron Artest went in the stands. We can't go in the stands.
He leaned over.
On the field. Where did he lean?
On the field. I know. I'm just
stay in the stands. We'll stay on the field. You stay in the stands. It's really simple. I mean, this should be nothing from the league. Nothing.
They will review.
Of course.
Oh, yes,
the question,
they will.
Review everything.
Yes.
Will they do anything?
Yeah.
All right. Much more from this threesome coming up a little bit later.
Yes.
But right now, we send over Scott Van Pelt. Week 1. Wow, what a start.
Go all day against Dan Campbell's Lions. New on SportsCenter. Let's hear from the Lions head coach.
All right. Well, look, man, that team played well, Credit to them, coached before, and they came out and they played outstanding, and we didn't play good enough. We didn't coach good enough, including me, and we didn't play good enough. So, like I told the team, it's tough, to go in and not certainly play close to your best game. And, you hate starting the season out with a loss. And as bad as that is, it's not what it appears to be. So it's like I told them, let's clean up the tape. We made some critical errors at the worst times possible. And you don't do those, you take those out of the equation, and it looks different. You feel like it's going to be a totally different scenario, but we did make those critical errors at the worst time. So, man, we're going to learn from it. We'll clean it up. It gives us a little barometer where we're at, game 1, and that's okay. It's always about improving no matter what. So we're going to take it and we're going to improve.
What were they doing that was going to take it that much of your offense?
Yeah, well, we knew they play deep coverage, man. They play a lot of cover 2. They'll play some 3 buzz. They, and they keep everything in front of them. That's how that defense is designed. And so we knew that, and the plan was to stay patient, be patient, which I thought Goff was. We took what was there and felt like eventually those shots would show. Just couldn't quite get to them. By the time you get a chance, or you hope you do, you're down, 2 scores. So, but that's the nature of this defense, and just we weren't able to generate 7 when we got in the red zone. That would help,
Dan, certainly you expected there would be some growing pains, perhaps with a young offensive line and 3 new pieces in the middle there.
Yeah.
What do you think was the biggest issue today with just the entire game up front on offense?
Well, I think really we just never, if you're talking about the 60 minutes of offensive football, we really never got in a rhythm. Where we got it down there and then we didn't finish. We weren't able to finish with 7. We had to settle for 3, then we have an interception. But other than that, we just never really got in a rhythm. And when your run game's not quite clicking the way you want it to, and then, that affects your play pass, and now you get in that type of game, you're down 2 scores, well, those guys are going to pin their ears back, and that's hard on any offensive line. And on top of that, you got a defense that's going to keep everything in front of them, so, you get in a bad way. So.
With these changes, the changes that you're going through, do you feel like you'd be more prepared for this opener than it looked at that point?
Yeah. I thought we would be. I thought we'd be cleaner than we were. I thought we'd be much cleaner than we were, and it wasn't as clean. But there again, you're talking about a few plays that were critical. But like I told the team, these are so correctable. Everything that showed up is so correctable, and we'll hit it head on. Our players are accountable, man. They're ready, and nobody takes it worse than they do. So that's the good news. We got the right dudes.
It's not what it appears to be. Some of the
Dan Campbell saying basically some correctable issues, a play here or there. I watched the game. I just thought the Lions got manhandled by the Packers. What did you see, Mike?
Dave, I totally agree. And you can see what a force multiplier this trade for Micah Parsons was. We'll talk about what he did on the field in a second, but to me, they were more like Detroit than Detroit was. They were more physical, they were more competitive, and they played faster. And that showed up in all 3 phases. I totally agree with you. They manhandled, really, Detroit, in fairness, on both sides of the ball. That bodes really well for Green Bay to beat a division rival like the way they did today on opening day.
Herm, the Lions were the highest scoring team in the NFL last season, and they got a late touchdown to clean up the final score a little bit. But what